Where chefs eat, the clue's in the title. It's an international restaurant guide chosen by a selection of the world's best chefs. We obviously thought it was a good idea to begin with, or we wouldn't have done the guide, but what surprised me is how the whole thing has grown. I mean, we've ended up with recommendations from 400 chefs around the world. We've ended up with 2,500 restaurants. This book really wouldn't have been possible without the chefs. Internationally, we've got some great names in there. And closer to home in Australia and New Zealand, we've got guys like Tetsuya, Neil Perry, Peter Gilmore, Peter Doyle, Dan Hunter, Bevan Smith, Al Brown, Ben Battenbury, Michael Meredith, and Andrew McConnell. When people from outside of Australia tend to think about Australia, they think about Sydney and Melbourne, those two cities. But of course, it's a huge country and there's a lot more than that. So what's great in this book is we've got recommendations for places as far afield as Tasmania and the Gold Coast and Sunshine Coast of Queensland. It goes without saying it was a lot of hard work getting over 400 chefs around the world to fill in a survey and come back with answers and comments. But actually on the whole, they engaged with it really well. We got really good response from, I'm thinking Neil Perry. I remember he sent in his survey, Neil Perry Rockpool, he sent in his survey, then he sent another email, then he sent another email, and then I think he sent a fourth email, so I'm saying, and then there's this one more place. And some of the recommendations were just really kind of quirky, not the sort of places you're going to find in any other guidebooks. I'm thinking of Andrew McConnell's favourite late night joint in Melbourne, in North Melbourne, which is a place called the Embassy Taxi Cafe, which is right beside the hospital and is full of ambulance drivers and taxi drivers, open late at night, pretty rough and ready, but does a fantastic burger. And when it came to New Zealand, those guys told us about everything from long-running classics like Fleur's Place, to casual grills like the Fishbone, to perhaps the most famous of New Zealand's famous burger joints, Ferg Burger. I think what was great, we were trying to do a really useful, unpretentious, egalitarian guide, and I think there was something in that Oceania chefs really connected with. What we wanted at the end of the day was a group of restaurants recommended for different things, from breakfast through to late night, from expensive to cheap, that you'd be proud to recommend to your mate. And I think that's what we got from the Australian and New Zealand chefs.